This is Cinderella Stories, and yes, the Women's March Madness tournament is done, but we still got things to talk about. I'm Savannah Hamilton. This is Ashley Docking. She's fresh from vacation. I actually put out there that if you come back with a tan that doesn't rival mine, I have questions for you.
Okay. No, it's fine.
Let's just do okay. She's very sensitive about her nails today. Oh yeah, that's right. So much better. That's crazy. Yeah, you really got a tan, Ash. All right, let's dance.
Okay, so actually in Portugal, it's not that nice right now, turns out.
Really?
Yeah, it was like
What do you mean?
15 degrees.
Oh, so it's a little nicer
sunny.
than here.
It was sunny, and there were moments of like, but then there was moments of like, not that.
Yeah, I mean, you look cute though. I saw the IG. She looked cute. We'll pop up a little pic 1-2-1-2. But yeah, okay. So happy to have you back because, like, you know, even though last week was so much better, I guess.
Yeah, I heard the episode. You're welcome. I rushed home immediately after I heard the long cut.
All right.
Sorry to our audience. Sorry to our viewers. Sorry to our parents.
It was fine. It was great. I enjoyed the space of having no judgment in every second word.
No, you held it down. I'm proud of you.
Well,
I'm proud of you.
I still missed you. So what? Maybe I missed you too.
Yeah. And now we're back, baby.
And now we're back, and we got tons to talk about. Let's break down the WNBA Draft. Happened this week. There's not surprising. Paige Bueckers went number 1. But what did you take away from it?
That they have commodified that orange carpet so heavily. It reminds me of the Distillery District Christmas market.
Okay.
Where Christmas is sponsored by Dior. Like that tree that they have down in Distillery, it just says Dior on the bottom, Dior on the top. It's like everywhere. And so when they had the orange carpet for the WNBA Draft, it's sponsored by Coach. So everyone's in front of this thing, Coach.
Coach bags, Coach.
Well, yeah. Paige's bag is giving Mary Poppins. It's just like,
I saw that. I'm like, what is inside there?
Her chair outfit change.
A whole umbrella.
Because she did double suits.
Facts.
My biggest takeaway was that, you know, I think it's always going to be a special moment for the women. I was surprised actually that you didn't see more family members at the tables. I thought that was weird because when you see a lot of other drafts, and mainly it's men's professional sports, each person gets a table. They have like friends, family, significant others, agents, whatever. And there's like 10,000 people to hug. And I found that like they kept zooming in on Paige. She's sitting beside AZ. Yeah. And then that was like it.
Yeah.
Why'd you raise your eyebrow?
No.
When I said she was sitting beside AZ, why'd you raise your eyebrow?
Because, they're great friends. You could tell.
Literally the whole time I'm like, kiss.
Yeah, I know. We're just like, the tension. It's the tension for everyone.
And I don't know if it's true, and I don't want to perpetuate rumors like that, but also like.
Cute though.
Kiss.
Cute though. I would say they're very cute.
Great friends.
Great friends.
Roommates.
Great friends. Roommates, really.
One
truly.
bedroom.
One bed. All right. Dominique Malonga, second overall pick. I'll call myself out. I really didn't hear much about her until the week before the draft.
Okay.
And I mean, I have lots of thoughts on even just this draft in general and how it was covered. And also we got to break down the fits. We'll definitely get to the fits in a second.
What are your thoughts?
But let's talk about the draft and how it's covered first and foremost, because like I said, I really haven't heard too much about Dominique until like recently,
literally yesterday,
and everyone's posting like there's male reference coming, she's the Victor Wembanyama of the WNBA now.
Yeah, fine.
I was waiting for that. Yep.
Fine.
I found myself. Yep. And I mean, I saw her. She's tall. She can dunk. She has ball handling skills. She's dominant. In fact, if she played in North America, I would argue that she probably would have been potentially the first overall pick. In fact, to the point where I know there's tons of hype around Paige, and rightfully so, like absolutely in every single like box, check. But we just don't know that much about Dominique, and I wonder if like had she been here, if the teams would have like kind of second guessed their thoughts on picking her first.
Well, I think the biggest thing is like the name brand.
Yeah.
And the name recognition.
Big time.
So we talk about like, oh, Coach branded the orange carpet. Well, Paige Bueckers is already a household name, and she hasn't played one game of WNBA basketball, and she's already signed to Unrivaled for 3 years, et cetera, et cetera.
Always talk about that.
So she's built in commodified.
Yeah.
And so you have Dominique, and no one knows who she is. It doesn't mean that she can't pop off, but it just means that I think is part and parcel to the decision.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that part because a name like she's a household name already. So many people are like, she's not already in the WNBA. No, like she's been in college this whole time. But I think she brings, like as you said, like the brand name, and I think brand names bring audiences.
Well, and also I think we kind of have to mention the fact that there's been conversation around like which superstars are promoted more than their other WNBA counterparts. And a lot of the women that are known across the board from casual fans are white women.
Yeah.
And so Dominique is black, Paige is white, blonde. And you think about who the casual fan knows. Okay, they know about Caitlyn, they know about Sabrina, they know about Diana, they know about Stewie, they know about Sue Bird. And so it's not nothing. And I'm not saying the women that I named aren't exceptional in their own right.
Exactly.
But there's a ton of players with a ton of talent. And when you're drafting a first overall pick, Paige is the one who's on the tip of everybody's tongue.
Yeah. And you know what's funny? And like, that's a great point. We talked about it a little bit last week as well. Like the Paige even like calling out the media, holding them accountable for that in her ESPY speech when she was 20 years old.
I was going to say, she is a real one.
She's a real one.
She understands the dynamic,
yes,
for sure.
Absolutely. And I think like kudos to her parents for raising her like that too. I know she has a stepmother that's also a black woman. So clearly she grew up with a level of consciousness around just diversity, inclusion, and that conversation. So I love that for Paige. It's actually a big reason why I'm a fan of hers.
Yeah.
But you're right, though. There's a lack of media coverage when it comes to black female athletes. And I think Dominique has it twofold, though. Not just that, not just the fact that she's black, but the fact that she is born and raised in France. And she is so people don't understand the European relationship to women's basketball and how dominant Europe really is.
Yeah.
And people are kind of just, even then, I don't even know, I could say like they're just clocking it now. But I know that scouts and coaches, like if you know, if you played there,
Yeah.
Like my twin sister, she plays in France right now. The competition level is very high. It's very competitive in Europe in general, but there's definitely some top markets. And so the relationship that overseas even has with the WNBA is interesting because not even every single great player in the world is in the WNBA.
Well, because why? So the biggest thing is like WNBA needs to have bigger salaries. So homegrown talent can stay in North America. They don't want to travel overseas. Obviously, what happened with Brittany Griner in Russia was a big jump off point for that conversation to spark back up. But if you're from Europe and you're from France or you're from Germany or wherever the case may be, it is staying home and you are getting paid more.
Yeah.
And you are recognized in a different way. And as you said, the quality of hoops is high.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's an interesting dynamic. I think as the money rolls in for the W, I think as the CBA gets renegotiated with this big TV deal, we'll see an influx of international talent.
Yeah. And I do know that like if you have the WNBA as a resume piece, then you go back overseas, it quadruples your value. There's been players that have made like $1 million in salary. I'm thinking about like Diana Taurasi and Sue Bird, and like whether that's even just collectively over their career in Europe or just even individual seasons.
One year,
yeah,
and
you can make it.
You're missing training camp. They're like, I would like you to check my latest paycheck.
Yeah,
I ain't coming back for a practice.
Stubs.
Yeah.
So
you want me to run the beep test? I'll be eating a croissant.
Sorry, I'm in the playoffs and I'm getting bonuses per round and per performance as well, by the way. So sorry, missing training camp. Oh no, what are you gonna do?
Our team tracksuit is Celine. Our team tracksuit is Balenciaga. Sorry, with all due respect to Nike Tech, please.
Chanel. Sorry,
my basketball shoes are Chanel. Sorry, I'm not coming back to do a little a beep test to check my vertical, which is trash anyway. Speaking of personal experience. But okay, so final thing on Dominique.
Yes.
Rakia Jackson, so funny. She was part of the hosting for the orange carpet. She was just like, I pray to God that I am not the first person to get dunked on in game because Dominique can dunk. Think that that's part of the thing is that people who are down on the WNBA and who are down on women's basketball, first of all, I will die on this hill. If you are a fan of a certain sport and you can't find beauty in it at any level, I don't think you really get the game. No. I don't think you're really a real one when it comes to things like that. I mean, obviously we're not talking about like Tykes or Timbits or something like that, but even still, it's like, I like soccer, it's kind of cute, whatever the case may be. But if there is professional athletes and you can't find a little bit of beauty in the game or a certain player, then I don't actually think you know ball. And so if she's able to bring that level of dynamic nature in terms of dunking to the WNBA, stock's already on the rise. This will pump it through the roof.
Yep. I would be so curious to see like what a matchup between like her and Caitlin Clark would look like a showdown. Like,
well, Caitlyn won't win because they'll go 2 for 3.
I know. It's like no, but like in terms of entertainment value, like you get like Dominique like dunking like one arm in the hoop, and then you have like
Caitlyn from the logo,
and I'm like, I'll just be like, whoa, what's happening? Like in the best way possible. All right, let's break down some of the orange carpet fits because I have thoughts, and I know you have thoughts.
Okay.
I have a feeling that my thoughts are going to be playing in the bad cop realm. So
you didn't like it.
Let's start with the good cop, maybe. Yeah, I didn't like it
at all.
Wasn't giving. Wasn't giving for me. There's one outfit that kind of stands out, but like I'll save that.
Which one? I bet I know which one.
Bet.
The one with the jacket?
Not the Dracula jacket. No, that was not. That's also on my no.
Okay, I honestly, respectfully thought you were gonna like it.
No, you. What makes you think what I'm liking?
Because run the tapes back. The first 2 episodes, you wore a little crop situation twice. One was a jacket, one was a vest.
I don't remember what I wore.
Yeah,
I really
one
don't.
was shearling with a brown, and then the other one was like a little zip. So I thought it was
a turtleneck.
No,
run back the tapes. I don't remember what I even wore on this show.
She wore 2 little crop situations. I thought. Sorry,
the Dracula thing that's like popping out here.
I didn't realize you were Transylvania phobic. I apologize.
Transylvania phobic.
It's okay. It's a safe space.
That's okay. Okay, so what did you like? Because I have lots of opinions.
Okay, I liked Kiki Iriafin.
Okay.
She was giving goddess. She stepped out of her comfort zone. It felt like she gave diversity at least.
Yeah,
I feel like everyone was in black and white. It was very much
a funeral
cocktail hour.
Yeah,
but maybe I work there. Like, do you know what I mean? I think I don't know who it was. Someone had like black pants, white tank top, black blazer.
I can't remember who that one was.
Le Chateau 2010. Like, what are we doing?
Not Le Chateau.
What are we doing? Yeah, remember they tried to run back that same satin dress every season, different colors. Mm-hmm. We're on to you. We see you. But I just felt like maybe I would have loved to see a little bit more personal style. Maybe even if you want to go like street style.
Yes.
I saw this one girl, and we'll put the account down here. She had she wasn't getting drafted. She was just an attendee, but she had a blue and white pinstripe collared shirt, and she almost like, you know how you can make carpets? You can like tuft carpets. She had like a yarn gun, and she did the logo like cool. 3 times across it with like writing on the back. It looks sick. So that's like that cool. level of creativity.
Okay, I like that.
Okay, so likes though Paige Bueckers.
Yeah,
that Vanna White-esque situation.
Yeah, it was
chef's kiss.
Yeah.
I liked it a lot. Okay. Her hair is stunning.
I love the hair. Hair was gorgeous.
I didn't necessarily love the second look.
The second look was simple, and the deep cut, like I've seen it before.
I like that though. Like if you have a fashion chest, because like some of us
don't. I'm looking don't.
Some of us
goes
it's a little
both ways.
It goes a little porny.
If you do deep cut,
the other way around. If you have a fashion chest, you can go like deep down to the navel, like Jennifer Lopez Versace, and everyone's like, "Wow, where's she going? Church?" You're like, "Yes, I am to praise the Lord."
Fashion chest. That's what it's called. Okay,
that's what I call it. Fashion chest.
Okay.
If it's a man, it's a chicken chest. But we respect women in these parts, so because I said man.
Yeah.
So I like that one. I like Kiki. Haley I thought looked great, but I just think she's like still riding the wave of the like Sports Illustrated like body yaddy yaddy. So like it was a cute black cocktail dress. Fine. You didn't like it?
No, it was like too basic.
Okay.
Like give me more. I thought last year's draft
the girls
fits, they came out and they all ate down. Like it was so good. This year I was thinking, did nobody style them?
Well, that's the thing. When you talk about the coverage and how maybe it's different this year.
That's what I'm thinking.
Like it's like the Angel, the Caitlyn. She's talking about Prada. Yeah. And now it's
they
like
must have styled themselves this year. That's what it was
fewer,
giving
or
for me.
Fewer people were approached.
Or that because like Kiki Iriafin, I did like her.
Yeah.
But even then, I say that hesitantly because I liked it, but I didn't love it.
Okay, well, what about like Georgia? Styled by Russell Westbrook. Honored the gift. That was a cool moment.
It was a cool.
I would have liked her in heels.
Yes, I agree.
But I think it was nice, like the embroidery, the leather. It was something different.
Yeah,
I think it expressed her.
I liked
but then again, black and white.
Love it.
Black and white again.
Once again, we're all going to a funeral on a cocktail hour after.
Isaiah James was one of my favorites.
That's the one.
She had the fashion chest.
That was my favorite
fashion chest, no shirt.
Yeah.
Blazer with like detail on top. I don't know if it was like culottes, like a wide like pants. I just thought it felt like cool, it was comfortable. That one stood out to me.
That one stood out to me as well because it just gave self-expression. Mm-hmm. It gave like I'm just gonna show up as I am and who I am, and like I'm comfortable with however I want to express myself. And I think that's so powerful. And like, not to say that nobody else did, but I feel like everybody played it safe, and like you can't get mad at any of the outfits, but nothing really stood out to me, like not as aggressively as her outfit did.
Yeah,
so
like Kim Mulkey would never.
Kim
What
Mulkey
would Kim Mulkey
show
do?
up.
Oh, dress as a Wilson basketball.
Yeah, literally with the net around her, like her neck, like absolutely. So, so I think that like,
I thought it was just mid. Wow.
Yeah, the entire thing mid. But let's quickly touch before we like move on about the draft coverage itself, because I don't know about you, but first of all, it's funny because draft, we always know that draft sneaks up right behind the Women's March Madness tournament. But the thing is with that is that there was like no promo, at least like not much. Like I didn't even see much in the broadcast.
Right.
There's a little bit, but I didn't see that much call out to it. I didn't see many people talking about it, different networks even previewing much about it.
But I'm saying, like, if they can't do CBS, if it's like not on CBS,
yeah,
like they don't cross promote.
I guess not
The draft coverage.
Maybe that's it. But like even then, like
no,
there's
Andrea Carter was on
like
both.
Social, yeah, exactly. I'm talking about like even social, like because let's be honest, like people could watch the broadcast, but people
are following on social.
Social.
I have my notifications on.
And like I was thinking, like like I didn't start hearing about the draft until like the week leading up to it. And then on top of that, there was this graphic that the WNBA put out where like the draft prospects were all kind of like,
I'm what I'm looking for right now.
Yeah, like they were all kind of back towards whatever, like the POV.
This one.
Yes, that one. And then
send it to the editors.
Yeah, exactly. And then you have like the stars, quote, quote, of the league, looking at the new draft picks and then
staring them down.
First of all, not welcoming. Don't be welcome to the WNBA. You're not welcome to the
W. But there's Sue, there's Diana. Is that Cheryl?
That was confusing to me because they added players that are not even playing in the league anymore, and they also mixed them in with current players, and they're all like, wearing their respective jerseys.
Yeah.
So if I'm a casual fan and I don't know, the depths of the women's basketball lore and the star players, I'm just learning, because let's be honest, like Caitlin Clark, she brought a lot of new fans to the WNBA. If I'm just learning the WNBA, I'm confused as to who in this graphic is currently playing, who's not playing, and wait, what's happening here? And there's lots of white athletes in that graphic too.
You hate a tribute? You hate a tribute, huh?
Well, I don't hate the tribute, but I'm thinking make it more clear, relevant, because I think that's what's missing for me, the relevancy.
Okay.
Like if you're welcoming yourself to the WNBA, you got to welcome to the league that is now.
Well, the one thing I would say in terms of relevancy, that there's 10 athletes that are already in the W or have played or have retired, and there's only 3 draftees that are going to be there.
That's so crazy. Oh, that's so crazy. Ashley just broke her own rule, everybody. She just got a phone call.
It was spam.
She just got a phone call and she didn't put it on speaker.
It said account services, so a bill has not been paid, apparently.
I would like to hear that on speaker.
Brokey.
That's crazy.
That's tough. Every answer? Oh, it went to voicemail.
Oh, no.
TBD.
Oh, no. Next time.
Oh, no.
Next time for sure.
Oh, no. But yeah, I hear you on that. I think that it's a balancing act.
Yeah.
What you put in front of people is what they will learn to consume. You can kind of teach it's marketing like principles. Like you almost teach people what to care about. You teach them what's cool. You teach them what's not. For the most part, some things happen organically, and sometimes if you try and make something cool, it has the opposite effect. But in terms of this draft, it's like everyone knows Paige. They did an okay job on the broadcast trying to tell stories, like the one about James's brother, who was killed in 2020. He was accidentally shot, and so she gets drafted, and then you bring this story up, and that's the kind of stuff that makes us latch onto these male athletes, is because we learn so much about them so quickly, almost like too much, too super invasive. So I think that the storytelling component just needs to be fortified when it comes to the women's game. Point blank period. And I now kind of I think about like, okay, what could they have done differently with their marketing, and who's kind of responsible for the fact that there was a lot of like lack of attention on this draft class overall. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, okay, we know that last year was like this anomaly year where like you got Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, like that rivalry right there alone kind of like lightning in a bottle.
Eyes, exactly. And then, Aaliyah Edwards, she had a great tournament run, and people started looking at
Our
Canadian
queen. Our Canadian queen.
CanCon. Check. But Aaliyah Edwards, she had a great run in the tournament that really like made her stand out. And so people were like locked in on the draft. And so I'm like, okay, if you're the league, you want to ride that momentum. And I get it. You're not probably going to hit those anomaly numbers again, but get somewhere in the range of the bar. Like, you know, like I said, if this is high jump and you're jumping like 200 centimeters, then try to at least go for like 180.
What's 200 centimeters converted to feet? Go.
Actually,
I already know what it is.
Okay, well,
no, go ahead.
Sorry,
no,
Brainiac.
Since you're
sorry.
so smart, since you got your degree and everything.
Listen, it wasn't in math. I'll tell you that right now. It was in sport media.
Okay, don't yell at me.
Okay.
First of all.
So, oh no, sorry, but you know. So, what is it?
No, go ahead.
No, what is it?
No, go ahead. I don't want to steal your thunder.
What is it? Now I want to know.
I think it's 6 feet.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
What is it?
It is 6'4". Youngs?
You.
6'6". I was closer. The price is right. The price is right. I was closer.
No, the price
is
the price we're both stupid. the cost of living has gone up.
MCC, Dr. Dawkins,
Esquire.
Esquire. Here we go.
Okay.
Anyways, let's move on. Speaking of numbers.
Okay, the one thing the last thing about the draft that we move on. Sedona Prince sits there
awkward
like that, just in silence. And she was the best on the board for a long time and doesn't get drafted. And that in of itself is kind of an anomaly. And so for those who don't know who Sedona Prince is, she was the woman who drew attention to the fact that the women's March Madness tournament was getting scraps compared to the men's.
Yeah.
And I'm talking literally figuratively. There was like one 10-pound dumbbell and then the men had something that was suited for Ohio State University football team.
Literally. And they weren't even allowed to call it March Madness then.
No, they couldn't call it March Madness. Yeah. And then like the food that they were getting was something, you know what, I was going to say airplane food, but justice for airplane food, I actually low-key like it.
Depends on the line.
Okay. We'll talk about it.
Okay.
But you fly like with the team though, right? So you're spoiled. She flies with the Raptors. Depends on the line. Is it Vouv they're serving or is it, but the food was just like the worst microwave dinner you've ever seen. The men are getting steaks, sirloins, mashed potatoes, chicken. So she was the one who kind of brought light to that, popped off on social media, and it did lead to real change. So for that, But then never meet your heroes because it came out later that 4 women.
Don't let your heroes meet you.
Savannah, please. Savannah.
Continue.
But you know, sometimes the dark humor pays off. So Sedona Prince had 4 separate women complain, come out, report her to police about harassment, verbal, physical, sexual assault, including 3 ex-girlfriends. And the note and the comment from her camp was that these women are, and it was actually very out of like the male playbook. It's like these women are trying to like ride her coattails to start to kickstart their own careers and like find fame. Name one of the women. Name one of the women
Literally.
that can, like, no, that's not how this works. And so it seems like as a direct ramification of those reports, those alleged attacks, the assaults, no one touched her with a 10-foot pole. She was not drafted, and she was easily the best available.
Yeah.
We had 2 surprise drafts from the peanut gallery coming through from UConn instead of Sedona Prince, who was sitting right there and available. So
just not even just in male pro leagues.
Yeah, 1,000%.
As entirely.
They might fall.
They might fall.
Yeah.
But would they fall out of the draft entirely?
No, especially because it wasn't like necessarily like quote unquote recent news.
Yeah. It's not recent.
TCU students, I believe, signed a petition to get her kicked off the team. So it was earlier in the season when the year started. So time has come and gone.
Yeah.
And then you still have the women's organization standing on business.
Well, that's what I love about the WNBA, the most progressive league in the world, because they stand on business when it comes down to brass tacks. Like, are you really going to have somebody with that reputation and, you know, whether it's alleged or whether it's actual charges, like, doesn't matter. Like, the WNBA is like, nah, we're not having, especially when 4 people.
We'd rather not.
We'd rather not. We'd rather, like,
yeah.
No. And we're not going to reward bad behavior.
Yeah.
Even if it's just, once again, alleged or whatever. But if it's coming from too many sources, come on.
One source is enough. Honestly.
One source is enough.
But we'll see if she sneakily appears on like a training camp roster though.
We'll see.
What did Wendy say? What did Wendy say? We'll be watching.
We'll be watching.
Okay.
We'll be watching.
Yeah.
All right. The last thing we want to kind of like touch on. I know that this was an important point for you. And you know, we laugh. We cry on this show. We cry laughing on this show. We have so much fun, obviously. But when you approached me originally for this podcast, even, you kind of like mentioned that you want to keep it really real and you have real conversations. And we kind of touched on it a little bit with Sedona, but I kind of want to circle back and let you set this one up because, you know, you saw something on social. We all did. And it was not good. And it kind of goes into the conversation of domestic violence and what is allowed in sports.
Right. Yeah. I mean, there was a video that was posted from like a security ring cam, and it was of Quadarius Davis, who was expected to be picked in the upcoming NFL draft, choking out his girlfriend, and he literally choked her unconscious. Her body hit the floor, and then he dropped her, and he tried to like leave and go upstairs, and neighbors saw and heard, and they went to her aid. The police were called, But it's just, I think we can't talk about it enough because there's a bunch of things that happen when situations like this happen. First of all, the woman doesn't get believed. Second of all, the conversation goes, what did she do to piss him off? As if a man's not in charge of his own emotions regardless. In this instance, what she did was break up with him. Like, oh no. And that's why people are like, oh, the man or the bear? The bear.
Yeah.
So
always the bear.
And it just bothers me so much is that no one even has a reaction. It doesn't even put a bleep on the radar unless there's a video. And even then, still people are so desensitized to all the crazy things that we're exposed to that even still sometimes like, well, and it's like, no, not well, because there's a ton of proof that says that if your intimate partner is choking you out, the chance that they're going to kill you, it jumps like exponentially just because of that one specific action. It's like so aggressive. It's so personal. It's so violent.
It's very personal. They say that's one of the most personal like causes of death.
Yeah, it's very violent. And so when you have things like this and you have men who are like defending it or downplaying it, my biggest thing is like, I feel these men are able to see themselves in that guy's position.
That's scary.
And so that's why they want to defend it, diffuse it, and make it not seem like such a big deal, because they would be either they've done something that they're ashamed of and they wouldn't want people to judge their entire existence, character, humanity on that one thing that they've done wrong, and so they're withholding judgment on a fellow man as well. Or they are for whatever reason scared that someone's gonna lie on their name and they'd want a chance to get the benefit of the doubt. And it's like, if you're relating more to the person who's inflicting violence than the victim, I think you have to like sit and stop. And it's just a problem in society in general. It's like, we don't care about a cause or we don't care about something unless it's like actually happened to us.
Yeah.
Like we all know someone, for example, that maybe has been suffering from or diagnosed with cancer.
Yeah.
But you don't go to like a cancer run like until that happens.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
And most of the time. Yeah.
And so it's not like necessarily a good thing or a bad thing. It's just an example of like, unless you've been personally inflicted or victimized by something, you don't really have a lot of apathy for it or empathy for it. And I think in these cases, when we're talking about like intimate partner violence, it's something that you need to like kind of take that out of the equation and just see what happened and say, okay, this standalone is fucked up.
Yeah.
And we can't really stand for it. So to go back to the Sedona Prince thing, wonder if and where he'll end up, because we all know that anytime a man is accused of something in sports, what's the last paragraph on the article always?
Oh, we'll cooperate with police in criminal investigation. What?
Stat line.
Oh yeah, that's so true.
Stat line. It's always a stat line.
He was averaging 20 points per game this season, though.
He hung 6 cats and killed 4 in a vehicle accident. Averages 18 points per game, 7 rebounds, 23 minutes from like Oregon State University or wherever it is. And so that in of itself is like just something to be aware of. That's all, more than anything.
Well, it's not just awareness. And the funny thing, I'm happy you brought up Sedona too, because it's like, this is not gender specific. Yeah. It happens in so many different cases. We've seen it, we've seen it with Sedona. We've seen it with Brittany Griner.
Yeah. And her wife.
Yep. Yeah. And it's a very common thing that happens obviously in men's professional sports too. And it just kind of gets brushed under the rug. And it's one of those things that I think the leagues don't really want to touch, because it's part of these players, these athletes, gender not specific, they make the money. they make the money at the end of the day. It's always about the bottom line.
Yeah.
But like, where does the bottom line cross over to morals, ethics, and just like, I want to say like saving face, like literally, like
at what point is it enough?
At what point is enough is enough?
Yeah.
You know, and how far can you push that ballot before, like, what, you got to have to wait till the complete cops like put this guy in jail? Like, and there's always going to be like those anomaly cases where there's fake
not like, honestly,
there's anomaly cases though where
but it's like less than like 2% of
sure,
reporting
but
is
there's
false.
there's still a small, and that's what people like to run with though. There's a very small margin, but people like to make that margin seem bigger than what it is.
1,000%.
That's why I had to give a little bit
And
of
that's
credit to
that
the
empathy
small
that
margin.
we're talking about.
Yeah,
where
I
it's
know,
like
exactly.
they're more inclined to believe the predator
which is
quote unquote prey,
crazy.
if you will, which is like, what do you mean by that?
What do you mean by that?
Yeah.
I know. Yeah, and you'd be surprised of the cases that like don't even come to light.
Yeah.
That just get shoved under the rug.
And just because the girl got money, it doesn't mean that it didn't happen. Just
Facts.
for the record, just because a settlement was taken and the person who was the victim didn't go on the stand and have to get their name dragged through court for 6 months and put it in the newspaper and got a bag for their pain and suffering to pay for therapy, doesn't mean it didn't happen.
If anything, it's
also
more telling.
Also,
Whenever they settle, for me, it's like more telling.
that part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you really couldn't defend yourself, could you?
You really had nothing.
That's crazy. Real quick, shout out to Paige Bueckers because she got her bag. She signed with Unrivaled, made a commitment for 3 years with them. Now get these numbers. Okay, I'm gonna bring back the numbers.
I'm listening.
So she signed for a 10-week season. That's what Unrivaled is in the off season. $350K per season with Unrivaled times 3 years. Okay. Now do the math. That you can do the math there. The WNBA total salary,
$1,050,000.
Yeah, I wish. Total salary. No,
that's the total of her Unrivaled contract.
Is
369 to 10.5.
All right.
1.5.
Math
150.
Math is not our strong suit.
LLC.
This is why we talk for a
Ashley
living.
Docking LLC.
There we go. Higher. Can you do my taxes? It's tax season, please.
No, I still owe $1,000 on HST from last year.
That's
coming, CRA.
That's rough.
It's coming.
That's rough. That's rough. Maybe ask Paige. Paige can help you out.
Continue.
So a lot of money. Whatever, 350,000 times 3 years, so 350 per season. Her total WNBA rookie contract, which is 4 years, comes to $348,000.
Yeah.
Over 4 years, she's making more in one season with a 10-week season and with Unrivaled than she's making in 4 years with the WNBA.
And the actual most insane thing about all of that, but all those numbers super valid, and it's like also get your money, girl. We love that. Unrivaled made a profit last year.
A crazy
That's
profit
what they
too.
reported at least. It's like 7
a,
mil or something like that.
No, more than 7 mil was what they paid the players. They racked in, I believe it was something like 27 mil.
Insane.
Yeah.
Love that.
Like
for 10 weeks.
For 10
I have questions.
Weeks.
I have questions.
Just a few questions.
What would you do if you got $350,000?
What would
and you had to spend it in 10 weeks?
You know what's crazy? Is that even a down payment on a house these days?
Yeah.
It can be. Depends on the house.
In
but like
Oshawa.
Before. Yeah, exactly.
Respectfully.
In Texas.
Yeah. How would you spend $350 in 10 weeks?
10 weeks. Jeez. Oh, whew. Well, I'm a world traveler. You know that. So you know.
She's gone to Greece twice. It's not that deep.
Going to Greece for the second time this offseason. And also Egypt and Italy and France. Okay, I travel. I get out there. I went to Dominican. Not me getting defensive. Okay, first of all, I would travel the world with that money for 10 weeks straight. I don't think you would see me.
I'd do around the world
on
in
the beach,
whatever day. Yeah,
climbing some mountain.
Okay,
visiting some historic like place, whatever.
Can I tell a sidebar story about this girl that I know who lied about climbing Machu Picchu?
What?
Shout out Amanda. I don't know if you're gonna watch this.
Not name dropping.
Well, it is what it is. She knows who she is. So we went winter camping by accident one time with my football team. So we were in Edmonton. And we decided, I was like, does anyone want to stay a couple extra days? We'll go for like a hike, go to a spa, because we just played football. Like, we're tired, we're beaten, we're broken, we're battered. Yeah, sounds good. And then this girl on my team, Angie, who I didn't really know was like ultra recreational at that point. She's like, yeah, I'll plan everything. Me? You're going to plan it? say less. Tell me where to send the money and tell me what to bring. Like, I don't want to plan. So then she sends the list of things to bring for this like hike. I thought we were staying at a hotel where they had robes. Okay. She's like, sleeping bag, tent, axe, knife with a 5-foot blade to pierce a bear's heart.
Whoa.
Hold on.
Whoa. Descriptive.
Big timeout. That's what it said.
That's crazy.
So apparently we walk, not apparently, we did 42, apparently, you know that kid? Apparently. Yeah. So we walk 42 kilometers in the winter inland. Your girl was going to wear running shoes. I didn't know until 2 days before I needed hiking boots.
Oh my gosh. I would.
One of the girls on the trip was like, oh, I got this. I climbed Machu Picchu. We're gearing up.
She's like, bet.
We're gearing up in the hotel the night before we leave. And she's putting on her like backpack. And the hiking backpacks, you're supposed to wear them up around your hips. It helps like decrease the load. It's those really tall backpacks that fit like everything. Talking about Mary Poppins bags, those things. Yeah. So she like has it super low and I didn't know anything about it. And Angie's like, that looks like it's too big for you. It doesn't look like it fits your frame. Like, didn't you climb Machu Picchu? Like, I'm expecting her now to like save my life, this girl, because she's a seasoned hiker. She's been with the alpacas. She's been up at altitude. No. Turns out she's like, well, what happened was she gave her backpack to one of the donkeys and she rode the gondola up.
Bruh. Climb Machu Picchu. Okay.
Climb. That's your claim to fame? You climb.
That's crazy. That's crazy that you even said that you did.
Out loud. Multiple times.
And owned it.
To different people.
As if she was a pro.
As if you weren't going to get caught.
That's called 2 truths and a lie.
As if we didn't have to unload you the whole trip because you were tired and I had to carry your axe and your pan and stuff.
The same one that put the list together?
No, Miss Machu Picchu.
Oh.
I wanted to get her a sash.
How about now?
Miss Machu Picchu.
Miss Machu Picchu. All right.
Anyway, I forgot what we were talking about, but go ahead. Oh, $350 World Traveler.
Yes.
Okay.
What would you spend your money on?
So I think I would be similar to this. So first of all, foremost, I would get rid of all my clothes, donate it, Dress for Success, whatever, Goodwill, whatever. Then I would get somebody to be my personal shopper and I would buy all new clothes.
I know somebody.
For the most part.
Yep.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Then I would get all the people that I love the most and I would go traveling with them. Savannah's out here by herself on the beach. Selfish ass
Sounds
bitch.
Peaceful to me, actually.
You're leaving the youths behind. I'm bringing them. You guys, smaller villa though. Smaller villa.
You share a bunk bed.
Smaller villa.
No, still bringing you though.
Smaller, with the help.
Pay for your own flights.
Economy. But they'll be there.
Real love though.
But they'll be there.
Yeah,
Savannah didn't even bring you.
Go
Savannah said, get melanoma on your own time on the beach.
Bring my sisters or something like that.
Anyway. So we're traveling.
Okay, yeah, we're like,
and I'm getting new clothes.
Yeah, okay.
And maybe a light donation.
Bag.
Maybe a light donation.
Yeah, a 1-2. You're like
for a tax break.
Yeah.
That's what they're for.
Wait, is it?
And investments.
That's what they're for, she said.
That is what they're for.
I know, but like, you're not supposed to say that.
I'm sorry. Oh,
it's for a good cause.
Loblaws, Galen Weston at the cash register. Do you want to donate $5 to help dying children? No.
Why can't the corporations do that?
Well, they already did. My understanding is that they already made a donation somewhere, some way down the line, and they're trying to recoup the costs for the donation that they already made that got the tax write-off in the first place. Guys, what are we doing?
This is unhinged.
Anyway, but sometimes they word it crazy.
Oh, I know.
And then you're like, before you even say anything, like, do you care about dying children? No. Well, Savannah, hold on.
And then the cashiers, they look at you like you don't. Okay.
Wow, you don't care about children with cleft palate?
That's
animal. Like, sorry. It's a lot.
It's a lot. And then you feel bad. You're gonna go home and sleep at night, and you're like, can't be like, oh, did I
really?
Am I the reason why? Like, the world's the worst place.
Sheets?
Am I 100 thread count sheets? Like
100, girl. You're
rough.
sleeping with the help.
It's rough.
You're sleeping with the youths.
It's rough.
At the villa.
All right. This is so not the episode today. All right. Moving on. Big news.
Okay.
All right. Big news. So we already know that Canada is getting its first ever professional women's soccer league. Yes, absolutely.
Yay.
Clap, clap, clap. And even I guess, bigger news in relevance to this podcast, our very own Ashley Docking will be covering it. It's the Northern Super League. She's doing the sideline. She's calling the games and the play-by-play. And it all kicks off for her this weekend. So I'm excited for you. But give me your thoughts on, like, huge
First of all, sorry for keeping it a secret from you.
Yeah, I was kind of like betrayed, but it's okay. Yeah, I had to spend the weekend processing it. That's why I was very late for my congratulations. But I still tagged you in a post, though.
Betrayed is crazy.
I felt slightly betrayed. It's
no,
okay,
I understand.
I thought we were close, but
I would feel
apparently
the same
not.
way.
You probably told somebody else.
It's a tough way for you to find out that we're not that close. And we're
it was.
colleagues more than friends.
There was a hard pill to swallow, but it's okay.
No,
this is why I enjoyed my episode alone last week.
As I said before, I feel like stuff like that in the industry, until the contract is like signed, sealed, delivered, things can get ripped out from under you. And like, it's a harsh reality of freelance life. It's a harsh reality of media in general. I just think that like people will, even sometimes with the best intentions, be like, yeah, you're the girl. And then sometimes like it's something above their head, or someone's a better fit, or timing doesn't work out, or a million other reasons, and their dad owns the network, whatever. And then they get brought in and you're on the outs. And so sometimes I feel like saying things or celebrating them too quickly.
Yeah.
It's like one of those things, like I remember when this is an example of it, honestly, and it's like no bad blood, no harm, no foul. Well, a little bit of a foul, whatever. When TSN did the all women's broadcast, and it ended up being star-studded. That Kia, Megan came back, Amy was on the call, Kate was there, Kayla was there, like. It was a great group of women, but they had called me to see if I would be interested and see if I had availability as well to be a part of it in some capacity. And I was like, obviously just like beyond excited and like, yeah, whatever you need, I'll be there. And then it didn't pan out. And so it's like stuff like that where like there's all the time there's probing conversations or just like discovery calls, and it doesn't necessarily always work out.
Yeah, that's you never.
And
get
so you don't want to be like celebrating or telling people, and then they're like, oh, I didn't see you on the call. You're like, yeah, I know, Savannah.
Yeah, I don't have to explain myself as to why that didn't happen.
I'm 6 Chardonnays deep. Get the fuck over. You know what I mean?
Bottles.
Yeah. Congrats though.
Right.
No, I get it. That's kind of why, but I am super excited. I spent the majority of my life playing soccer. It was my first sport before basketball.
Crazy.
Which a lot of people don't really know about me. I was pretty good.
Soccer girly.
I was all Canadian. My jersey's retired at the college that I went to. I have a scoring title. It's no big deal.
Oh, shoot.
It's no big deal. But yeah, I'm excited to kind of like get back, and I think it's a big thing for just the country in general. I hope it's going to be cool in Toronto specifically. The first game's at BMO Field, so we're looking forward to it. But I think it's going to be interesting. Like, you're not necessarily a huge soccer fan per se, but you're going to give it a chance.
Well, absolutely. I mean, I give everything a chance. Like, trust me, this is my rule of life. I give everything.
That's why your dating history is what it is.
Don't get me started about yours either, okay? We're not gonna go there today. I am a casual soccer fan for sure. I don't like keep up aggressively or even much at all because I have a job covering basketball, so it is literally hard for me to logistically keep up. However, like, do I follow TFC and do I think about like just like the overall landscape of like sports outside of basketball? Of course. And so when I hear though about like the Northern Super League and the fact that it's a women's league, it gets me excited because I think automatically what that would look like on a broader scale for women's basketball. And so I'm actually almost more curious about the NSL. NSL. Sorry.
Yep.
I'm so used to NWSL.
Yeah.
That it feels NSL like I'm leaving something out. But yeah, the NSL. Also love that they didn't put woman in their name too. It's just Northern Super League. Period.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to see how that all pans out because I know that the founders are former players.
Diana Matheson.
Yep. And then there's a couple of them.
Christine Sinclair's involved in an ownership group out west. And then they were able to get like some Canadian legends to come play. Like Desiree Scott's going to be in the league.
Crazy.
Quinn's going to be in the league.
Beautiful.
And so you got to hope that the talent level is going to be there too, because I think in Toronto, I'm going to speak to Toronto specifically because that's the market that I know the most, is Toronto loves an event.
Yeah.
Right? Toronto loves an event.
We love the pull up.
The Grey Cup sells out.
Yeah.
Argos games, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like that random coffee party that people went to at the Well, love an event and then love to hate on an event, right? Coffeegate is actually one of the best things going on TikTok right now.
I've been seeing it. Yeah.
It's so funny. It's so funny. Some guy today I saw, he was like, you thought you were going to summon a vibe at the Well? Okay. Okay.
Be so for real. I mean,
but so I think it's like, what kind of vibe are... our AFC going to summon?
Yeah, and
that's going to be the thing. It's like, what kind of activations are they going to have? What kind of crowd are they going to incite? What is the in-game production going to be like? Because that's some stuff you don't even realize that it's contributing to the way that you're enjoying the event until it's bad.
Also, like, fan culture.
Yeah.
That's what I'm curious about. Not to cut you off, but like
who's it going to
what's the culture? What's the vibe of the crowd going to be? Because, like, you know, if you think about, like, I think about, like, TFC's crowd is so much different than, like, a Raptors or a Leafs crowd.
Yeah.
And, like, you know, I see
demographics. Who's the demo?
They have, like, the smoke thingies in the air, even, like, marching on their way to the stadium. So I'm kind of, like, wonder, like, is that going to be the energy that gets carried over to the NSL? Especially in Toronto, of course. But outside of that, even, like, I think about women's sports as a whole, like, what is the energy in the crowd for women's sports, period? That's why I'm almost, like, documenting in my head, like, what are they going to do that maybe the other, when we have more expansive leagues, especially for women's basketball, what can they take away from NSL?
Well, I don't know. Maybe, like, what were the WNBA games like?
Well, they were incredible.
I didn't even get to go to one.
Yeah.
I was, like, working.
They were sold out. The energy was high. Like, it was very, like, it was an event. Exactly what you say. Toronto loves an event.
Yeah.
So it's hard to actually gauge, like, but if at the same time it's sold out in, like, well, I know Toronto's like 37 minutes, and then Edmonton, I went to Edmonton too. It sold out by, like, I think the end of the week.
Yeah.
Like, and so either way, the crowd, the energy is almost like one of those inspirational moments at those games. But I just want to see how that translates to a season or seasons, because it's not really even about the first season. It's about the third season for me.
Yeah, it's like the Jays home opener sold out 50,000. What's the second game saying?
Literally
10 people.
What's the 10th game saying?
5 people.
Literally.
No, I think it's going to be good. I feel like, I don't know if this is a controversial thought, but I think that in terms of the way that sports are played, men versus women, and the different aspects that you enjoy from each gender, I think soccer is the closest in terms of parity that you get from men to women. Well, there was that one commercial. I know the one you're talking about.
So good.
What was it for? The Olympics?
Or FIBA?
FIFA?
Sorry,
FIFA. So yeah,
FIBA.
We can put it on the screen. The commercial is a bunch of men playing soccer, and it's like golazzos, stunning footwork, big time tackles, just huge sellies, and then you realize that they Photoshop men's faces onto female players, bodies. And it's actually like the women who were popping off. And so I think that is one thing that soccer has on top of its global reach in general. It may not be Canada's sport, but globally there's so many soccer fans.
I've always said this. I prefer watching women's soccer over men's soccer.
Okay.
I've always said this because I joke, I'm like, every single time like that there's a men's soccer game, it's almost like there's a sniper in the building. And they just roll.
Yeah, they're super dramatic.
So dramatic.
Super.
Meanwhile, women, they get pushed down. They're like, back up. Yeah. Like, they're like, bet. Who was that? You? Yeah. You're mine.
Take a
like,
number.
Yeah, literally. Yeah. So, like, I respect the women's game for, like, the grit, the toughness, and the fact that they don't over dramatize, like, their injuries. I'm sure, like, it's legit. Like, with the men's game, too.
Some do, but it's not. The men are crazy.
Yeah, and it's like, there's always a range here. I'm talking overall. So, as a casual fan, though, if I'm watching it, I just want to see you compete. I don't want to see the game stop. Or like, you know,
watch, like standing over your teammate just watching.
Literally.
It's like you got the problem now too is that with that culture is the replay just shows your ass. It's just like you got stepped on your ankle, you're grabbing your head, you're rolling around, you started like dry heaving. I'm just confused. Why do you look like a cat? Stop it.
It's too much.
It's not a flattering back arch on anybody.
Yeah, no, come on now. It's solid turf or grass. Like it's not cute.
Yeah.
No, so that's why that's another thing that I appreciate about the women's game, and I'm excited to watch it for myself, and also it's gonna be you so on good. And sidelines and calling play-by-play.
And if anyone's recording me on TV or sending something on Instagram, please, at the love of God, at least a boomerang or a video, because I have dry eyes. I blink a lot, and so it's really tough to get a good screenshot. Thank you.
Really?
Oh yeah.
I was gonna say, you don't blink that much in this
No,
podcast.
you could literally do like screenshot roulette. It was like the funniest thing. You just like on the timeline, spacebar pause, and I'm like, spacebar pause. Yeah. Dry eyes. It's okay. It's an ailment. Add it to the list.
Just happens.
Add it to the list. To my scoliosis as well. Did you know that?
No.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I have ailments. Wow. Vertigo. Motion sickness.
That's what happens when you get older. Anyway.
It's a state of emergency. Evacuate the building.
Anyways, anyways, congratulations. I will wrap this by saying congratulations for all your success and for telling me super late.
Okay.
But it's okay. I get that. It's important to like kind of like hold the blessings in and just enjoy it for yourself.
Because you never know who's like doing bruja behind your back.
Facts.
And trying to take away. Yeah, and trying to take away your blessings. I'm serious.
Facts.
Yeah.
No facts. You'd be surprised what happens behind the scenes in our industry. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So on that note, we're just gonna wrap it all up here.
Wrap it up. We're getting the light. Wrap it up.
We're getting the light. They're telling us to get out.
They're playing off the music.
Yeah. This limited series has been so much fun. Yeah. Like literally
confirmed
over the past couple of weeks here, about a month actually. Like
cue Evanescence, Bring Me Back to Life.
I
feel like that's what this has done for me. You know what I mean? You know that song?
Absolutely. The credits are rolling. We have to give so much credit though to
yes, please. Go ahead.
Like Sydney and Nadine, like those are, when we say the youngs, like that's who we are referencing. They're incredible. They're one of the backbones of this show, truly, because we couldn't have a production without, putting it somewhere.
They're the femur in the pelvis. They're holding the whole thing up, babe.
Femur in the pelvis? Yeah. Does that work like that? Dr. Docking, I can't question it. Where's your
Ashley
kit?
Docking, MD.
Where's your kit?
It's actually in my car. Outside. I do have it still. Yeah.
All right. But yeah, no, our young kind of hold this whole thing together. They're the glue. They really like make it all possible, especially on the backside, post editing, everything. There's so much work that we know that goes into a show.
Yeah.
We'd also be remiss if we also didn't give a shout out to, of course, the studio space. Clayton Hansler. He didn't have to like give us the access, but he did out of the goodness of his heart, and he believes in women's sports, so we love Clayton. Ally, as well. His studio space is called Soda Studio, so shout out to Clayton and Soda Studio, and as the entire production team that has worked here, Dylan and Greg, shout out
allies.
Greg.
Valentina, say something. Ally. Yeah, it's been fun, Sav. It's crazy that you have a personality.
Oh my god, that's like the number one thing people are like, Sav, you have a personality? I'm like, what do you think I was? Like, just a pretty face? Like, come on, no, there's more going on.
For sure.
Anyways, continue.
That's all.
What else were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say thanks for joining us.
Yeah,
it's been fun.
Thanks for bringing out my personality. How about that?
You're welcome.
All right. Thanks for watching, guys.